I hope to use it in business in the future. I'm also half Chinese.
I was told it was going to be the next great language in the world.
Well, China's currently a growing power, and I want to connect with my roots a bit more. So why not Chinese, right?
And I've always been really interested in China and wanted to travel there.
Get a media job in China.
Studying about China and its relations with the U.S. and Korea.
Because I like Chinese literature, classical poetry, history.
It makes me feel more whole, more equal, and also it's really fun.
There's a meaning behind, the language that's really cool because I think that not a lot of languages have that, and I think
I am a junior in the college studying Chinese and linguistics. A little bit about me. I'm studying Chinese because I was born in China. I was born in Jiangsu, Changzhou, but when I was 11 months old, I was adopted to the United States by my mom. And so I spent all of my life in the United States, grew up here. But when I was a junior in high school, I had an opportunity to go back to China for the first time. And I went, and it was an amazing experience. I went with about 30 other adoptees from China, and we had the opportunity to go to Beijing and meet a lot of the officials at the China Center for Adoption Affairs, as well as visit a lot of historical sites like the Temple of Heaven, the Forbidden City, and really reconnect with our cultural heritage. So when I came to college, I decided I wanted to be a Chinese major in order to learn the language that I never got the chance to learn growing up. This year, I'm enrolled in a 4th level class with Ren Lao Shi. It's called Topics in Current Affairs, and the class is mainly structured around economics or government. I'm also taking a class with Professor Kafalis called East Asia Text and Context. It's actually a requirement for all Chinese majors at Georgetown. We read religious texts, so texts that are about Taoism or Buddhism, Confucianism, such as the Analects, the Tao Te Ching, Zhuangzi. And additionally, most of the work in the class is done in a discussion format. We all prepare the readings before coming to class, and we mainly sit in a circle and discuss, which makes it a very different kind of English class. However, we also sometimes break up into smaller groups in order to delve more deeply into the themes of a particular work, and then within these small groups we prepare a short explanation for the class.
Although I didn't have an opportunity to start studying Chinese until I came to college, I've always had kind of a sort of a hidden passion for China ever since elementary school, and coming to Georgetown, I finally had an opportunity at a really international focused school to start studying Chinese. So I'm currently studying 2nd level Chinese, and since this is still considered a high beginner level, the classroom, although while it's focused around different topics, we still spend a significant amount of time reviewing basic grammar concepts and new vocabulary words just to augment our vocabulary. We do various things such as dictation, which involves our teacher reading sections of the text out loud and us just rote copying it down. And also we do a lot of the teacher says and we repeat it just to reinforce essentially Chinese grammar, sentence structure, and just getting used to using new words. I feel that this style of classroom instruction is extremely useful since it's really key to reinforce the basic sentence structure to really be used later on to make more complicated sentences.
然后七手八脚的搬家。好，这里呢，光十色，对，所以有很多颜色。这个是火花。
哦，好，拜拜。Learning Chinese is a lot of fun, but I can't say that it hasn't been difficult. Actually, I think Chinese has been one of the hardest things I've ever done, but it has been a very rewarding experience. One of the hardest things for me is reading the newspaper, whether in paper form or online. Sometimes when I'm reading, I see words that like new vocabulary words that I've never encountered before, or grammar patterns that are more formal than the ones I've been taught in class. And this is very difficult, especially when I'm reading in paper form, because unlike the internet, I can't just use my computer to look up the words, so I have to use a lot of context to try to figure out the meaning. Also, sometimes when I'm reading online, I see a lot of internet slang, so words that wouldn't actually be used in a formal newspaper in print form, but especially if you're reading like a blog or you're using an online social media site like QQ or Renren. Sometimes people will use phrases that are really popular for the time, but they're not actually able to be looked up in a dictionary. So sometimes I have to do a lot of guesswork with that, and that can be very challenging.
So in addition to spending a lot of time every day in class studying Chinese, I also do a lot of activities outside of class. Every day I spend 1 to 3 hours typically preparing for the next class. Especially over the weekend, I spend a lot of time just writing characters just to reinforce the new vocabulary words before each week's dictation quiz. Since coming to Georgetown, I got really involved in the Chinese community. In addition to taking Chinese class, I also do lots of extracurriculars that involve the Chinese community. For example, during Spring Festival, the Georgetown University graduate students having an organization for Chinese students and Chinese culture, and they held a gala in the Spring Festival that I attended, and I got to see lots of different Chinese dance, instruments, singing, and jokes.
美国经济不见好，中东国家换领导，韩国人整出个江南 style。
Also, I'm a member of the undergraduate Georgetown Chinese Students Alliance. We also held a ball in celebration of Spring Festival, and it was really cool because all of the girls wore their chi paos, which is a Mandarin-style dress. Additionally, our school the undergraduate population is having a festival to celebrate Asian culture called Asia Fest. I'm going to be singing a song in Chinese by Wang Lihong. It's called 依然爱你, and it means still in love with you.
So we've gotten to my room. I'm actually living in the GLC, which is the Global Living Community. It's a community of about 22 students here at Georgetown, and it allows for meaningful interaction between American and international students. Recently, I was given the opportunity to be the MC in the Chinese New Year Gala performance in Atlanta after a friend that I met through an internship this past summer recommended me to the planning committee for the event because of my fluency in Chinese. 第13届亚宠之春又和你见面了，我们送走了龙腾虎跃的龙年，又引来金蛇狂舞的蛇年。 在这欢庆的日子里，我们荣幸地邀请到了北京侨联、北京情思艺术团的到来。现在让我们用热烈的掌声，请艺术对呀，现在让我们热烈艺术团的节目。现在我们用热烈的掌声来邀请艺术团的节目主持人，中国铁路文工团国家1级演员季丽小姐，我天，小姐 ，OK， 那个你能不能把它就是 cut 掉
？I'm going to intern in Beijing this summer, and I just wanted to prepare myself a little bit to not be totally lost when I get there. Even though I will speak English most of the time, but I'm interested in learning Chinese for the future. I'm very happy to be learning with Dixon, especially like private lessons. Gives us a lot of flexibility, so I focus on what I need for like the short term that I'm going to learn Chinese for. And I like private lessons with Dixon. They're fun, and it's hard though, and I'm trying my best, but it's going to be hard.
Okay, 我现在想去公园。
And then park goes.
So it would be at the very end. I right now want to go to the park.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I. It's in the middle. It's in the middle of both.
在. That's better. Yeah.
在.
见.
见.
再见.
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 再见. 再见.
This has a very broad.
Yeah, very
use.
general.
I think you can use
Yeah.
it in a lot of situations.
有意思。
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 你好，我叫苏珊娜。你叫什么名字？
你好，我叫 Dixon。你是哪里人？
我是巴西人。你呢？
我是美国人。
你今晚要做什么？
我今晚要工作。
有意思。
我明天会去参加汉语桥，我觉得我准备的不错。在很久很久以前，
月几时有，华九问青天，不知天上宫阙，今夕是何年？
我觉得中文很有意思。
我觉得看这个书法就对我的中文的学习很有帮助因为我可以看到中国字的历史。
现在中国的生意机会可多了。
我特别喜欢蔡依林，她是我最喜欢的歌手。我希望去中国找她。希望可以跟他结婚了。
我们是乔治城大学的学生。
对。这是我们的你多长时间学中文？
我5年6个月学习中文。
我只学3年。这也是我第5年。我非常喜欢书法。
对，这个。
扁担宽，板凳长，扁担想绑在板凳上。扁担宽，板凳长，扁担想绑在板凳上。
这个有很多
书法家、专家
从人民大学来乔治城大学，对。
然后他们也带了他们学生的书法。
对，特别是漂亮，
非常棒。但是
扁担宽，板凳长，扁担想绑在板凳上，板凳不让扁担绑在板凳上，扁担偏要绑在板凳上，板凳偏偏不让扁担绑在板凳上。到底扁担宽还是板凳长？哥哥弟弟坡前坐，坡上卧着一只鹅，坡下流着一条河。哥哥说宽宽的河，弟弟说好流的鹅，鹅要过河，河要渡鹅，不知是那鹅过河还是全世界都在学中国话，孔夫子的话越来越国际化，全世界都在讲中国话，我们 城市。